Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my movie vlog. My name is John Campea, and this is our special companion video. Now, every day in the morning on the John Campea Show and in the afternoons on Open Mic, we take live questions from the viewers, but we don't always have time to get through all of the questions. So we like to gather up those questions that didn't get asked on the show and make this special companion video to make sure that all of your questions that you send in get answered. So without wasting any time, let's dive right into it. And the first question today comes to us from Love and Debate, who writes, "Not sure if this has been asked, but how strong is Captain America? Beat up a plane, hold a helicopter, now holding back Thanos." Yeah, I mean, that is one of the great moments, obviously, probably the best moment for me in the second Avengers Infinity War trailer, is that Captain America holding off Thanos. I mean, that was just like an amazing moment to me. And also, don't forget, like in the first Avengers film, when you've got that three-way fight going on between Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor in the woods, like Thor goes, "You want me to drop the hammer?" And he hammers it down. Now, yes, it's a vibranium shield, so the shield holds, but how strong does Captain America have to be to not buckle under the force of Thor hammering down on him? Yeah, it was the shield that blocked the shot, but Captain America's still under that, holding the shield, so how strong does he have to be? Look, it's irrelevant what they say in the comics. This is the movies. And in the movies, they've never really given us a definitive answer about exactly how tough is Captain America? How strong is Captain America? And, that raises the question, and I've mentioned this before. In the upcoming Avengers movie, is that just Captain America holding off Thanos, or does Captain America have a little something extra? Does he got a particular Infinity Stone in his pocket? Did Wakanda grow a new batch of heart-shaped herbs and just maybe give one to Captain America? Little STD. STD is the wrong, I meant PED, not STD. Wakanda gave Captain America this little STD. Wow, that was a Freudian slip. Anyway, so maybe they gave him a little performance-enhancing boost, huh? A little Jose Canseco for you right there. So I don't know. We'll have to see. So I'm not really sure. The movies never really definitively have told us how strong is he. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of that in the new Avengers Infinity War movie. All right, next question comes to us from Jose M, who writes, "Just rewatched Man of Steel, and honestly, it's way underrated." No kidding. No kidding. That movie's underrated. To me, still, masterpiece of the genre. One of my favorite comic book films of all time. The more I watch Man of Steel, the more I appreciate it. I think if more people go, look, and it's all film is subjective, so it's not going to be for everybody. But I think if more people give the movie another viewing, they'll start to recognize just how great that movie is. I mean, personally, I love it. But again, all film subjective. If someone doesn't like it, someone doesn't like it. But I agree with you. I think it's underrated. James Welsh writes, "Why has DiCaprio avoided doing franchises?" Honestly, I'm not so sure he has avoided doing franchises. It's just the films he's decided to get involved in aren't franchise films. That's all. Look, for every one film that DiCaprio takes, studios and agencies pitch him 100 to be in. Like, all actors have to go out and earn a job. Certain actors, like DiCaprio and guys on that level, they get to pick and choose which movies and which roles they want to be a part of. And sure, there's probably a few big pictures that they even still have to audition for. But on top of that, for every one movie they have to audition for, they get like 100 offers. Just please come and be in this movie. And so, yes, he hasn't been in a franchise yet, but remember, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of films that aren't even franchise films that he's turned down. So I don't know that, DiCaprio has actively avoided franchises so much as the few films he has chosen to be a part of just don't happen to be franchise films. So really, that's the only way I know it. Unless, but I haven't sat down and talked to Leonardo DiCaprio about it. Maybe he does have a reason. Who knows? John Reed writes, "Deadpool cameo, X-23. Love to see him interact with her. Possible. I don't know if it would have the same impact for most audiences as, say, something like a Hugh Jackman or a Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man or something like that. But I've heard a number of people mention that they wouldn't mind seeing X-23 be that big cameo in Deadpool 2. Who knows? You never know. Could happen." Akeem writes, "Akeem, the African Dream, was the one-man gang, not Tugboat. Tugboat was Typhoon/Sockmaster. You are absolutely right. I was mentioning before that, Akeem was at one point Tugboat. I stand corrected. He was the one-man gang. Thank you for correcting that, Akeem." Chris P writes, Iron Spider, Iron Spider, Iron Spider. Again, I'm never going to get away from that. Oh, that damn Iron Spider. Last of the Time Lords writes, what's the better movie, 47 Ronin or Seventh Son? Oh, 47 Ronin. 47 Ronin isn't a horrible movie. I don't think. It's not a great movie. I'm not suggesting that, but to me, it's not a horrible movie. Definitely, Seventh Son is horrible. So I will definitely take 47 Ronin. Jose M. writes, did you check out the lame Shazam Q&A on Entertainment Weekly? I have not. I did not know there was one, but now I know what I'm going to read. I'm going to get in a Uber ride here in just a little bit, and I'm probably going to look that up and read it. I didn't know there was a Shazam Q&A on EW. I will check that out. Clearly, you didn't like it, Jose, but I'll have to see what it is you're talking about. Time Lords writes, will we ever get a Mike Tyson biopic? I thought we were. We got very, very close to getting one with, Wayans, I think. No, Jamie Foxx. I think Jamie Foxx, if I'm not mistaken, was supposed to play Mike Tyson. I don't know what happened with that. For all I know, it shot or it didn't shoot or whatever, but I believe for a while Jamie Foxx was supposed to play Tyson, and then kind of nothing came of it, I don't think. So I know there have been plans for a Mike Tyson biopic. I don't know if it'll ever come to fruition or if it already shot. I just don't know. Interesting question. All right, let's move on. Time Lords follows up again. I work as a lifeguard at a swimming pool in London and just wonder if you or Anne go swimming a lot or enjoy a good swim sometimes. I love swimming. I grew up swimming. I enjoy swimming a lot. Anne can't swim, so she does not like going in the water. Hopefully I'm going to take her back to the Campia Ranch when it's not winter, maybe even this summer. We're going to try to take a trip back to Canada this summer, and my parents have a pool at the ranch, so hopefully I can take her into the pool and teach her how to swim a little bit. Let's see. Payne Perry writes, sorry, but think of the Iron Spider suit. Why more Iron Spider suit? Tony feels responsible for this kid. Okay, I've already rejected that in life. Oh, Tony feels responsible for him. Tony doesn't feel shit. Because if Tony cared about the fact that he was a kid, he wouldn't go pluck him out of his life, take him overseas to Germany to get into a fight with superpowered beings. Don't throw this, oh, Tony just feels responsible for him stuff. This is the same guy who went and grabbed this 15, 16-year-old kid, dragged him overseas specifically to get into a fight with people who have the power of the gods. All right? To get into a fight with superpowered beings. To get into a fight with Captain America, for heaven's sakes. So don't give me this, oh, Tony just feels responsible for him. Don't give me that. If he wanted to feel responsible for him, he would keep him out of doing everything. He wouldn't have dragged him into it in the first place. Don't give me that. This was Marvel going, hey, Spider-Man's not cool enough. Let's make him Spider-Man Jr. Let's make him Spider-Man Jr. Because guess what? With or without that suit, I bet Spider-Man could take Iron Man. But Jordan in the comics, I don't care. I'm talking about the movies. Anyway, so don't give me that. I'm tired of this Iron Spider stuff. Let's see. Warrington Train Spotter 2778 writes, did you hear about Chris Evans' contract after Infinity War? Well, if you're talking about that his contract expires after Infinity War, we've known that for about 4 or 5 years. So we've known that for a while. So yes, but I addressed that today on the show that just because his contract's expiring, guess who else had a contract expire? Robert Downey Jr. And guess what? He's still in the MCU. So yes, his contract's expiring. Chris Hemsworth's contract is expiring. Whole bunch of expiring contracts. Contracts expire, they get renewed. Whether they will or won't get renewed, who really knows? I'm just saying, just because his contract's expiring means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing at this point. Hans Gruber writes, best villain except Vader. My favorites are Alan Rickman, the Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood, and of course Hans Gruber in Die Hard. Yeah, I think Hans Gruber from Die Hard probably takes the number 2 spot for me. Ranking right up there, though, in a very underappreciated film, Chiwetel Ejiofor playing the operative in Serenity. His villain in that is just chilling. Just absolutely chilling. I love that. So many people still haven't seen Serenity. Watch Serenity. It's amazing. Let's see. Next one. Last time of the Time Lord says, over under 20% that Tom Hardy pops up in Homecoming 2. It's really impossible to say at this point since we have no idea what's going to happen in Venom. We have no idea what's going to happen in Avengers 3 or Avengers 4. I mean, there's still so much space between now and then that I can't even venture a guess. I wild off the top of my head, I'll say under, just for the hell of it. I'll just say under at this point. Rar Nation writes, I'm bummed I didn't get to meet you at Star Wars Celebration last year. I had a great time. Did you? I did. I had a wonderful time at Star Wars Celebration last year. Do you plan on going to Star Wars Celebration again or New York City Comic Con? I'm not planning on going to New York City Comic Con. It's just too expensive. Far too expensive for me to get a hotel in New York, fly all the way to New York City, feed myself for that much time, plus whatever other money I got to spend while I'm there. It's just too much money. I just can't afford it. Star Wars Celebration, whenever the next Star Wars Celebration is, which I think will be next year, I think. Anyway, I'll probably go to the next Star Wars Celebration. I had just a marvelous time at that last year. Tyler Fisher writes, thoughts on Scarlet Witch's impact in Infinity War / Avengers 4. Do you think she makes it out alive? If so, how big do you see her role in Phase 4 of the MCU? How big her role in the MCU will be in Phase 4? Impossible to say. But if I had to take a wild guess as to her chances of making it all the way through Avengers 4, I'd say pretty good. She's one of the relatively new members. So she's got that going for her. There's a little bit more of an emphasis on female characters right now, so she's got that going for her. She's a tremendous actress. Elizabeth Olsen is a tremendous actress. She's got that going for her. So right now, again, I'm not basing this on anything other than to say it's just a gut reaction, a gut thought. I do think she makes it through Avengers 4. I do. I think she lives through the whole thing. Time Lords writes, what are your thoughts on Floyd Mayweather applying for an MMA license so he can rematch against McGregor? That'll never happen. He's not that stupid. He will always beat McGregor in a boxing match. But literally, McGregor would murder him. I'm telling you right now, and Floyd Mayweather knows this, if he got an MMA license and actually got into an octagon with Conor McGregor, that fight would not last 30 seconds. The only way that fight lasts more than 30 seconds is if Conor McGregor decides he wants to toy with him. Conor McGregor would land one leg kick, and that's it. He would snap Mayweather's leg in like a twig. He'd go down. He'd then go down, ground and pound him. It would be done. There's nothing Floyd Mayweather would be able to do to make that fight last more than 30 seconds. A boxer should not get into an MMA ring. They will just get demolished. We've already seen that happen before. Who is former heavyweight champion, I'm forgetting the name of the boxer, but got into an MMA ring to fight Randy Couture. And Randy Couture just embarrassed him, just beat him up. I mean, it's just, you can't do it. You just cannot do it. And he's not that stupid. He would just get humiliated and embarrassed. So there's no way he does that. Patrick Hewitt writes, I think standalone movies can work for DC, but I think the problem then will be people will think, isn't this supposed to be a universe? Just my thinking, people will get over that pretty quick. I think people get over and get past that pretty quick. Just make good standalone movie. Look, winning cures everything. Put out a great standalone movie and you're good. Put out a bad standalone movie and it doesn't matter because it's bad movie. So yeah, winning cures everything, man. I think they can overcome that problem. No sweat. JCL Productions writes, hey, John, my mom and I made our third film, and like you've said before, it's a very hard task to make a movie, let alone a good one. What's the best course for indie filmmakers, film festivals, etc.? It all depends on the film. It all depends on what kind of resources you have. Like, I didn't have a lot of resources when I did mine, so I went the film festival route. I got into a few film festivals. It got seen by a few people. I mean, but really, there's no one correct answer. And I am somebody who's done all of 2 independent films. 2. So I am hardly an expert. I'm not the right person to ask. But, I mean, there's no one correct answer for anything. It really all depends on the movie you have and the project you have and what resources you have at your disposal to try to market it. Solido0739 writes, John, I wish I can talk, but I can't. # May 2018. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but there's some very big movies coming out in May 2018. Adam Griffin writes, which film comes in number 2 this weekend? Black Panther or Sherlock Gnomes? Ooh. To my shock, Sherlock Gnomes is actually tracking around 15 million. It'll be a close race. I think, if Gnomes comes in around 15 million, I think Black Panther can do better than 15 million. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Black Panther takes the number 2 spot. I would be shocked. I think you'll all be shocked if Pacific Rim didn't beat it this weekend. Pacific Rim should definitely beat it. But number 2, I think you're right. It could be tight, but I'm going to give the number 2 spot to Black Panther. I think Black Panther will overcome Sherlock Gnomes. Never know, though. Never underestimate the power of a family film. All right. Hans Gruber writes, you would make a great sniper, wink, wink. Okay, so I've been talking recently about how I've been getting into playing Fortnite, and I absolutely suck. I've been so busy, I have not played for the last 2 days. But I'm going to try to play a little bit tonight. But I suck at that game, so I'm saying you'd make a great sniper. Snipers. ZOMG Ruler writes, I hate most Coen Brothers films. Don't hate me. Hey, listen. It doesn't matter how good or celebrated a movie or filmmakers are. It's all subjective. And you don't get to choose whether or not you like it. You just watch it, and you either like it or you don't. It's the same way you don't choose if you take a bite of a piece of pie. You don't choose whether you like it or not. Your body, your particular taste just react in a certain way, and you either like it or you don't. And so never apologize for not liking something that is popular, because if you're just being honest and not trolling about it, if you're just being honest, hey, Coen Brothers are loved and I don't like them, nothing wrong with that. If that's honestly how it hits you, then that's how it hits you, and you don't have to apologize to anybody for that. Time Lords writes, better player, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady? Oh, Tom Brady by far. Which guy has 5 Super Bowl rings? Which guy has more MVPs? Which guy has more finals MVPs? Which guy has more records? Blah, blah, blah. Tom Brady. Tom Brady, easy. Last Time Lords writes, when will we get our first Meg trailer? Well, Meg starring Jason Statham comes out in August, I want to say. Yeah, it comes out in August. What is it now? It's March, April, May, June, July, August. About 5 months. Yeah, soon. I'd probably guess in the next 4 or 5 weeks would be my guess. I mean, a movie like Meg isn't going to have a huge marketing campaign, so I don't expect one too early, but I'd say within the next month and a half, we'd probably get one. That's my guess. I'm looking forward to it, by the way. Last of the Time Lords writes, thoughts on movie Contraband with Wahlberg? Honestly, don't recall it. Vicky Kiki7 writes, love your show. Thank you so much. Any news on the Lucille Ball biopic? Okay. What we know about the Lucille Ball biopic, which I am dying to see. First of all, it got Cate Blanchett, one of the greatest actresses in the world. I think you can make a very strong argument that other than Meryl Streep, the best actress in the world is probably Cate Blanchett. I mean, it's up for debate for sure. It's up for debate. For me, I'd probably put her as the number 2. But anyway, so they cast her for the lead. The last I heard, and they may have made progress since then, they're looking for somebody to play Desi Arnaz. They're looking for somebody to play her Lucille's husband. Amazon Studio picked it up. Now, of course, they're the same studio behind The Big Sick with Kumail Nanjiani, which was amazing. So that's the last I heard. Got picked up by Amazon. By the way, that doesn't mean it's not going to get a theatrical release. It should get a theatrical release. We got Cate Blanchett in the lead, and that they were looking for a male lead. They may have got their male lead by now, and I might just be forgetting about it. But that's the last I remember off the top of my head. I cannot wait to see that movie. I'm dying for that movie. Lyco Zero writes, was it good news on that conference call? Okay, so I had to cut short yesterday's open mic show just by about 15 minutes because I had a conference call with Google. It was nothing earth-shattering. It was just I've got a rep, I don't know what you call them, a creator rep at YouTube and Google who works with me. That's one of the perks of getting over 100,000 subscribers is that you actually get a point of contact person with YouTube, which is great. And I just check in. We have conference calls once in a while just to go over the channel and things like that and updates, let me ask some questions, things like that. So 3 o'clock was the time I had to do it, so I had to end the show yesterday. So it was nothing ground shaking to announce. Mr. Film writes, did you watch the A24 Under the Silver Lake trailer? I have not. And you know what? I saw it pop up the other day, and I meant to watch it, and I haven't watched it yet. So I'll talk about it when I have a chance to, but I did not watch the trailer yet. Thank you for reminding me, though, Mr. Film. I appreciate that. Jeffrey Podolsky writes, another YouTuber had a theory that Rian Johnson's trilogy will be in a different galaxy. Well, a lot of people have that theory. I've heard that around a lot. I can't find anything else about it, which would tell you something, but have you heard this? Either way, thoughts? Well, I mean, look, theories aren't theories are just theories. You can come up with any theory that you want. There's certainly been no official word about where it's happening or when it's happening. All we know is that he has started work on it. We know that. They haven't started shooting yet, but he's now putting the film together. It could be in another galaxy. I don't see why you go to another galaxy. I mean, you can go to another corner of the galaxy, really remove himself, but we don't even know what time period it's happening in. We don't know where in the galaxy it's happening. We know nothing about this right now. So, hey, could the theory of happening in another galaxy altogether? Sure, but then why call it a Star Wars film? Like, if it's in an entirely different galaxy, in essence, then it's not a part of the Star Wars continuity, and not in the same universe, then what's the point? Why call it a Star Wars film? It's not a Star Wars film at that point, really. So it's got to be in the same galaxy, I would think. But it can be off in a remote corner of the galaxy. It can be out beyond the outer rim. It can be wherever you want. But I think it's got to somehow still be connected in the same galaxy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about that theory, but it's certainly plausible. I mean, we don't know anything yet, so everything's still on the table as far as I know. All right, A.V. Towns writes, in your opinion, out of these directors, who is the better filmmaker? Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, or Guillermo del Toro? Quentin Tarantino is my better filmmaker, in my opinion. By far, for me, it's Martin Scorsese. By far. And that's no shade or disrespect on the great Quentin Tarantino, on the great Guillermo del Toro. None at all. But you're asking a giant, you're facing off a giant against a titan. I'll take the Titan, and that's Martin Scorsese. So for me, it's Martin Scorsese. But I love those other two as well. Love them deeply. Chris Oldfield writes, Sword Art Online live action movie. Like, I don't know what Sword Art Online is, so I can't even give you the slightest of opinions on that. Sorry, guys. Here's a little thing, guys. If you're going to write in something about something that might be a little bit more obscure, do me a favor and put a little bit of explanation into it, so maybe I might have a better context of what it is we're talking about. Otherwise, I don't even know if this is a typo or not. Sword Art Online live action movie like Ready Player One. I'm sorry, man. I just don't know what it is we're talking about. Sorry about that. ETT Media writes, hey, John, would Power Rangers 2 work on Netflix? Why would it? I mean, if it didn't work in the theaters, why would it work on Netflix? And it certainly depends on the budget. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the last Power Rangers movie, let me look this up. I think it cost close to $100 million to make. Let me see here. Power Rangers, the 2017 movie, cost $100 million to make. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it'll work. Now, if you make a Power Rangers movie for $20 million, yeah, that could work on Netflix for sure. But I don't see how Netflix gets value out of a $100 million movie based on the Power Rangers when no one's going to see their content. So if you radically change what it is and move it from 100, like literally reduce the budget by 80%, and you make it for $20 million, then maybe, but other than that, I just don't see how anybody can make it profitable, let alone Netflix. And Netflix still needs it to be profitable to get enough value out of it that it actually generates money for them as opposed to costing them money. Jack Wallace writes, I watched the Solo trailer for the first time since seeing Rebels finale, and now I am scared, John. Please don't tell me that those tentacles at the end of the trailer are from space whales. Oh my God, I'm so afraid of that. I hate the space whales. But forget the space whales. I remember the first time I saw that trailer, I'm like, what is it with filmmakers having this obsession with giant tentacles? Why do some of these great filmmakers have an obsession with giant tentacles? I don't know why. We see it pop up all over the place. So I have no idea. Oh my God, I just hope it's not giant space whales. I just hope it's not the giant space whales. But you know what? They are in space. And there are giant tentacles. And they didn't look the same as they did in the animated Rebel series, but it's possible. I'm probably going to slap my head if that's what it ends up being. Oh my God. Space tentacles. Uchiha Obito writes, greetings from Winnipeg. Ah, the forks over there in Winnipeg. I am the only one who thinks that, or am I the only one who thinks that the best way to cure Bucky's brainwashing is through the help of Professor X? No. With the assistance of the best neurosurgeon doctor? No. Yeah, first, yes, you are alone. No. No. We're not going to get X-Men or Professor X coming in and do all that kind of stuff. The best healing is just to let him heal, I think. So, no, I wouldn't go for that myself. But, hey, I mean, it's fun to imagine. It's fun to come up with all these weird scenarios. But, no, I'm going to stand in disagreement with that one. Dude, enjoy Winnipeg. So happy they got the Jets back. Shamanth Ramachandra writes, really liked The Shape of Water, but did not love it because it was too predictable for me. Did the predictability of the movie bother you? I don't know what kind of movies you watch. I was not expecting her to fuck the sea monster in the bathroom. Call me crazy. Did not see that coming. Nor did I see it coming that she was turning into I don't want to give spoilers away too much. The movie's not out on home video yet, I don't think. So I'm not going to give too much away. But I didn't find it overly predictable. Any more than any other movie in theater. So personally, I didn't find that myself. You did clearly, and it affected your enjoyment of the film. All I can speak is for myself that I didn't find it all that predictable. Any more so than any normal movie at any rate. Let's see. The Incredible Hulk. Hi, John. Thoughts on Spielberg saying that Netflix movies should get Emmys, not Oscars? I haven't seen the comment myself. If he did say it, I can see where he's coming from because Netflix is a television streaming service. And traditionally, movies of the week on television channels have been up for Emmys, not Oscars. So I get where he's coming from. If he did say that, I get where he's coming from. There's precedent for that. There's history for that. I get it. At the same time, though, a movie is a movie. Netflix now is just turning into a different distribution option. And look, they make it like any other movie. If they make a movie the way they make any other movie, the same people involved, you got your producers and directors and actors, and they shoot it the same way, that who knows, maybe this movie ends up on Netflix, maybe it ends up in the theater, then it's the same art form. So I do think that Netflix movies should be eligible for Oscars. However, I'm not going to say Spielberg's out of his mind because I see where he's coming from. We have had a long history of television networks that produce a movie of the week. It's a movie. It's not a TV series. It's a movie that is made for broadcasting on television. And those have always been Emmy, not Oscar. Emmy eligible, not Oscar eligible. Netflix is a streaming to your TV service. It's essentially a new TV network in many ways. And I can see why somebody like Steven Spielberg would suggest something like that. I don't agree. I think there's more argument in the favor of it should being considered for Oscars. But I wouldn't argue till I was blue in the face about it because I do see where he's coming from. He does have a valid point. If that's what he's saying. Again, I haven't seen this quote from him, but if he is saying that, there's some validity to the argument because historically that is the way it has been done. So I get it. I just don't agree. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. Marv Diesel writes, what's good, GC? Giovanni Campia's my name. You mentioned wishing Mike Myers would make a comeback. Did you see he's in a new movie, Terminal? Yeah, I believe it's a Netflix movie. Speaking of Netflix movies, Margot Robbie is the lead in it. I don't really know anything about the movie, and they had a very, very vague trailer, that a little preview for it come out. But yeah, that was one of the things I noticed is that the last name that came out, Michael Myers, is like, what? Mike Myers? So I don't know if him taking a small role in something I would consider a comeback per se, but it really would be great. It'd be interesting to see first of all, I'm interested to see what this movie is even truly about, because you got Margot Robbie in it, but the fact that Mike Myers is in it, that's also incredibly eyebrow raising for me. Let's see. Justin Ward writes, Can producer amalgamate multiple screenplay drafts? If he wants. Look, if the producer owns the rights to a screenplay and all different drafts of it, then they can do whatever they want. They'd have to get a writer to put it all together and amalgamate it all. But sure, pardon me, producer, if they have the rights to those drafts, then they can do whatever they want. A lot of people would argue that ultimately almost every screenplay is a result of several rounds of drafting until you come up with one final thing. So that's pretty much usually what all things are. But like, for instance, a producer, if he's got the right to two completely different scripts, he has the right to take those. If he owns the rights to them, he can take those and mash them together and make one script, get another writer to write one script out of a combination of the two. They can do that. So yes, they can. But arguably, depending on how you word that, you can make an argument all scripts are pretty much the amalgamation of several rounds of drafting finally coming together into one big thing. So you can say that. Pai Gao writes, considering Universal has the rights to a solo Hulk film, what is the most plausible way to get a solo Hulk movie get the release? Yeah, so Universal has the rights to distribute a solo Hulk film. The Universal doesn't have the rights to make a Hulk film. Only Marvel has the rights to make a Hulk film. But Universal holds the rights to distribute it. So what Marvel can't do right now is they can't make a Hulk film and then distribute it themselves. They're not allowed. They can make a Hulk film, but then any film they make with the Hulk, Universal automatically gets to be the distributor of it. That's the nature of the agreement. So the most plausible way of a solo Hulk film getting released is Marvel being willing to play ball with Universal and say, okay, we'll make it and you get to distribute it. I totally understand why Marvel doesn't want anybody else distributing their films. I get it. I totally get it. And I also get why Universal doesn't want to give those rights up. I also get their position. They're both looking out for their best interests. So the most plausible way for a solo Hulk film to get made and released is for Marvel to agree to make it and allow Universal to distribute it. That's the only way it's going to happen as of right now. So we'll see what actually happens. Sam Demner writes, hey, John, do you think Thanos will only be in Infinity War, considering we don't know what Avengers 4 is about and it's completely different, says the writers? Hey, look, I've been saying forever that I think it's plausible that it's plausible. I'm not saying likely. I'm saying plausible that Thanos bites it in Infinity War. I think it's plausible that he may die in it and not be the main villain in Avengers 4. I think it's totally feasible. I would say it's a 75-25 chance. 25% chance he dies in Infinity War. 75% chance that he does survive Infinity War and is the villain in Avengers 4. But that's a very realistic possibility. So, yes, Sam, I agree. I think it is possible that could be what we're going to get. Alton J. writes, will Thor build a new hammer for Infinity War? Well, he gets a new weapon, a new hammer. I don't know that he builds it, though. I don't know if he would have any clue on how to build it. There are some people guessing that Beta Ray Bill shows up and gives him the new hammer. Who knows? So I don't think he builds one. I think he gets one, but I don't know that he builds one. So that's kind of where I'm thinking right now. Misael Benuelos writes, why is Star Trek Into Darkness generally disliked? I'm not really sure. I like Star Trek Into Darkness. It's probably my least favorite of all the JJ era Star Trek films, but I liked it. I know the whole part when Spock goes, Khan! I know that pissed a lot of people off because that's a James Kirk line and blah. It pissed a lot of people off. And they had some questionable decisions in it as well, yes. But I've never understood, like, there are people who passionately hate that movie. And I've never understood that. I for one, have never understood that position of passionately hating that movie. I actually kind of like it, but hey, that's what it is. Like, all film is subjective. But I'm sure that one scene of having Spock screaming, Khan, didn't do it any favors. I'm sure that didn't help the situation at all. Luke Thomas writes, for Deadpool cameo, I would love to see Sir Patrick Stewart meet James McAvoy, both as Xavier. That would be fun. That would be fun. I mean, one of my picks is Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. I'm picturing in that Deadpool 2 trailer where we see Deadpool in the professor's wheelchair, that you then see Patrick Stewart come in and say, will you get the hell out of my chair? Or something like that. Maybe swear. I don't know. But I like your idea. Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy, both as Xavier. That would be a very cool cameo, I must admit. Anthony C. writes, thoughts on the movie The Crazies in 2010? Honestly, can't remember it off the top of my head, so I'm going to take a pass on that. Ryan Gosper writes, what if What if what they may mean when Chris Evans is that he is stepping down from the mantle of Cap? Do I smell a nomad coming? I don't think so. It's possible. But remember, nobody has said officially that he's leaving. So when you say, what if what they meant, who's they? Who is they? When you say, what if what they meant, who's they? Marvel has not said that Chris Evans isn't coming back. Chris Evans hasn't officially said, I'm not coming back. So nobody has said that. Is it possible that he steps down from the mantle of Captain America? That mantle goes to somebody else? Again, I'm very iffy on the whole mantle thing. Steve Rogers is Captain America. Captain America is Steve Rogers. You can have somebody else call themselves Captain America, but they're not Captain America. Steve Rogers is Captain America. That's who Captain America is. You can use his name. You can call yourself that if you want. But they're just synonymous. Captain America, Steve Rogers. Those are synonymous. It's one and the same person. So that's just kind of how I feel about that. But it's a possibility. It's certainly a possibility. Nathan Lip writes, hey, John, when do you think we'll see the other Star Wars movies besides The Last Jedi get a 4K release? Keep up the great work, John. You're killing it. I appreciate it. Honestly, I don't care because I'm not even a 4K person myself yet. I'm not even positive I'm ever going to invest in 4K because my current HD setup looks magnificent. I love my current just HD setup. But the other main thing is I have a feeling we're about 2 years away from a different standard becoming the new standard beyond 4K. So what I don't want to do is get in a position where I invest like, $3,000 or $4,000 in a new sound, new screen, whatever, new equipment to play 4K, only to like 2 years later have to do it all again with the next new iteration of what's the new big thing. So I'm avoiding 4K myself, so I'm not even really paying attention to what stuff is coming out on 4K because I just don't care because I don't have a 4K TV. I don't get 4K content. I don't plan on investing any money in any 4K content, at least for a few years. If a couple more years pass and 4K looks like it's going to be the standard for a while, then maybe I'll look at investing into it. By then, it'll be a lot cheaper than it is right now, too. But right now, I'm not really paying attention to that kind of stuff. Corey Bulger writes, what do you think about the new Thunder suit on Black Lightning? I really like it. I mean, both Black Lightning suit and Thunder are a little kind of conspicuous. They're both kind of blue from normal superhero outfits and everything. So, but, for the show, if that's what the Black Lightning costume looks like, then the Thunder costume looks great. If I had my druthers, I would have them change the Black Lightning costume because it looks a little silly to me. But if that's what Black Lightning looks like, then the Thunder suit matches very well with it, so I'm cool. It was a great episode, by the way. Fantastic episode that they introduced the new suit for. Okay, just a couple left. Lawrence RBE writes, why do studios not look... Let me try this again. Why do studios not look movies individually as a collective? Lawrence, I got to tell you, my brother, I'm not sure that sentence makes any sense. Why do studios not look movies individually as a collective? Black Panther may end up $1.4 billion while Wrinkle in Time from the same company. Again, that sentence doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Black Panther may end up $1.4 billion while A Wrinkle from the same company. So Diz is in the black. Well, okay, if what you're asking is, yes, the company is in the black, but you still want, if you're going to invest money into a movie to make a movie, you want each individual movie to make you money. That's how you have to look at it, is individual films making you money. You don't want to be in a position where you put out one big hit film, seven films that flop, but that one movie made you so much money that you're still in the black. And you go, oh, okay, that's fine that we put out 7 flops. No, it's not. You got to look at it individually. At the end of the year as a company, you add it all up and then you feel good about it. But you have to look at each individual project, as its own investment. So that's why they need to look at it that way. SJs writes, is Cap / Chris Evans top 5 superhero portrayals? I would, 3 is tough. Because 3, you're talking, superhero portrayals? Because superhero portrayals, you got to be talking Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, And to me, even though it's only been one film officially, but to me, you got to put Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in there. Like that, you talk to me about guys who were born to play their roles in comic book movies, you're talking Robert Downey Jr. was born to play Tony Stark. Hugh Jackman was born to play Wolverine. And it seems to me like Ryan Reynolds is the ultimate guy to play Deadpool. So to me, that's probably top 3. Top 5? Then I think you get into Chris Evans being in the top 5. Yes, I would. I think Chris Evans has done such a spectacular job playing Captain America. He's one of the big reasons why Captain America is my favorite hero in the MCU. Probably by far. It's Cap. I'm all team Cap all the way, man. And his performance as Cap is one of the big reasons. So I would say yes to top 5. Probably not quite top 3, but absolutely yes to top 5. He's just done a great job. And the final question today to get us all caught up on the questions that we were behind on comes us from Kim Linkrus, who writes, proud Patreon supporter here. Thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate that. Have you watched Geg Wars on Twitch? Love the Rebels cast with Witwer leading the Edge of the Empire RPG. Have not watched it yet. And it's funny because I've got, both Witwer and I almost said Cuba Gooding Jr. I've got Witwer on my news feed, right? And it's always popping up, right? It's always popping up. And so I see it linked on my computer screen all the time. And I've never actually had I've never had time to sit down for like 15 minutes and click and watch it. I want to watch it though. I'm hearing great things about it and I will watch it at some point. I absolutely will. All right, that'll do it for me, guys, for this installment of this special companion video, getting you caught up on all the live questions that we didn't get around to on the John Campea Show or Open Mic. Hey, listen, guys, while you're here, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the thumbs up on the video, and make sure you're following me on Twitter, simply at John Campea. That'll do it for me, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. My name's John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.